Hello, people. Come on in, because what I'm about to talk about today, y'all need to know about. So let's do it. Come on in. Wait till 1 minute passes, and then we're gonna go. Because I've been laughing at this topic all day, really for a long time, as it's grown in popularity and been overblown. But and don't mind my cough drop. I and the rest of the world have a cough. All right. So welcome back to Career Catalyst Live. I am Angela M. Zachary, and I help professionals simplify their job searches using HR systems that you probably don't know about, probably never would know about unless I told you. And so it occurred to me that I did not explain why I call this Career Catalyst Live, and I feel like I should, so you understand that it wasn't arbitrary, that I actually thought about it. And so it's not just the primary service that I provide, which is Career Catalyst, a service that teaches you how to use these systems to present yourself for job searches in an impactful way. But I call it Career Catalyst Live because I want there to be a reaction in your job search. I want it to happen real time. I want you to learn, and I want you to apply in real time, as opposed to doing one-offs that might help you in the moment but not in the long run. It's kind of like if you put vinegar and baking soda together, right? You don't have to sit there for an hour and wait. You don't have to ask it to react. It reacts because that's what it does. And so that's what I want to happen to you. I want you to hear this information, absorb this information, and then go out and apply it to your job search to see changes. So that's why it's called Career Catalyst Live, and welcome back. So like I said, I'm on kind of like a truth revolution tour because there's only so much lying you can hear before you start feeling like you need to say something. And apparently my threshold is high because I've been listening to this stuff for a long time. But, if you know the truth, it's on you to say something about it, right? So, and when you hear the truth about these things, I think that surface level stuff that you might be seeing online won't phase you as much anymore. So on Monday night, I told you all when I was live about personnel systems and how that's the reason you're better off quitting your jobs and essentially begging for pay increases at your current job. And it's because of these systems. So I'm not telling you about them on some fight the power stuff, even though I did genuinely this morning call myself a comp anarchist by accident. I am a comp analyst by trade. I accidentally said comp anarchist, and I feel like to some people in my field, they probably would feel that way about me right now because I'm spilling the secrets, right? You're not supposed to do that. I remember in my first analyst job, they said, do not tell anyone where you work. Don't tell them anything about this place. And so that's how it is, and that's how it's been since I've been in this for over a decade. But I think what I'm doing, educating job seekers, educating workers, is the highest level of order there is, because we are going to be on one accord. All the players in these systems, I want them on one accord, and when we're on one accord, this awful topsy-turvy job market will right itself because we've been on one accord, right? That's the goal. So that's what we're here to do. So I'm going to talk about another aspect of these systems, and I mentioned it a little bit on Monday, but I want to go into it just a little more, and that is ATS, the dreaded ATS. If you don't know what that is, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, because it might mean that you're stuck in your job, so I don't know. But ATS is an applicant tracking system. And it's been really blown out of proportion and talked about a lot. But it's not necessarily, I won't say not necessarily, it is not the thing that you should be concerned about in your job search. Full stop, end of story. I could really stop right there and just tell you that, but I'm going to give you more context. It's not where you should be focusing your attention, because like I said on Monday, it's not the system that we're talking about that runs all of the workers in an organization. It's not the system that keeps you stuck at the salary you're in or the level you're in. ATS is a tool. ATS is an application that recruiters use to track applicants' journey through the application to selection process or disposition, which is when they reject the applicant or throw out the that person's application. And so it lets them see who applied. It lets them figure out how many times that person's applied, what their talent is, how it relates to the job description that was posted. It might let them see some statistics about their work as a recruiter, so how many applicants they're dealing with, how many jobs. It'll let them see their metrics, like how fast they're moving to fill these roles. It'll help them schedule. It does a whole lot of stuff. It'll let them, sometimes I believe, move candidates like to managers so they can see them. So it does a whole lot. There's one big thing it does not do. It does not make decisions. ATS follows directions. It does not sit and think, I wonder, should I accept this candidate? No, I don't want to because of how old they are or because of where they live. It's not doing that. It's following the instructions of the person who is using it, the recruiter. So it's like if they say it requires a degree and the recruiter enters a knockout question, which are questions that knock you out, literally, from the system or from the application process, those are the things that they are not willing to compromise on. If the recruiter does enter one of those things and the ATS sees it, then it's going to send that rejection because that's what the recruiter told it to do. Now, it's kind of like, people say, well, give people a chance and, you should read my application. And I get it. I'm not even here to pretend like I've never gotten an out of rejection, because I have. I feel like everybody has at some point or another. But the goal is to learn and figure out, figure out what the problem was and adjust to make sure that you're meeting the requirements that they've likely set. But it's just like if you block somebody on your phone, you block a number from calling you, right? The way people talk about ATS is as if when you block somebody from calling you on your phone sees them call and says, well, I know you said don't block them, but maybe they have something important to say. Or maybe they really wanted to talk to you. If you just give them a chance, they'll really blow your mind, right? And then you can accept them back into your life and unblock them and blah, blah, blah. You would be furious. You would be calling your phone company immediately and asking what in the world happened because it did not follow your instructions. So ATS follows instructions. It does not make decisions, just like our phones don't decide who to accept calls from and who not to. It follows directions. And so you have to keep that in mind, that there is a person behind all the steps that ATS has taken to either maybe rank somebody if that is how they configure the system, or to simply show them candidates. It is a decision that a person has made. But even in all that ATS does, it has limitations. It has a lot of limitations. It's a computing tool like Excel or database, or a database. So if you give Excel, I use Excel a lot in my job, and I used to use Access a whole lot. And I liked just kind of digging around and seeing what would happen when I entered different things or if I inputted information a certain way. If you input information the wrong way into Excel or database and you try to use it for a specific thing, they won't give you the information you're looking for. Either it'll come up with an error or it'll give you something that you weren't expecting to see. And so that is what happens with ATS. If you feed it something that it is not expecting or that it cannot use because it is a system that has been configured to behave a certain way, it won't use it the way you want it to. So we've got to think about normalizing that data, so to speak, how we do it in Excel or in a database. Normalize the data, meaning figure out what that system wants to see, how it wants to see it, and what will happen if it does. And once you think about those things, you're able to better get past ATS. And I say get past because, like, it's a tracking system. You're not getting past it. You're in it, just like everybody else who applied. But that is kind of how you approach ATS. So it's not this scary bot, a monster. It's not the police. It's not a law. You cannot be compliant with ATS. It is not something you can be friendly with. It is not your friend. It is a system that does a job just like the rest of us do. So it does whatever that user tells it to do. So what's the solution then? If we have these systems and we don't necessarily know which ATS a company is using, because there are lots of them, and we don't know how they've configured it. We don't know any of these things. But what we do know is the systems that they're using, right? These systems include their job descriptions that they post, for instance. If you look at that job description, you can see a lot about what they anticipate and a lot about what they have likely configured into ATS. But again, it all goes back to these systems that we're using, because the job description is a part of a system. ATS is a part of a system that has moving parts that span from the top of the organization to the bottom, all on all sides. Everybody that works in that organization, from full-time, part-time, contractor, everybody is a part of this system. Doesn't matter how much they make or how much they work, they're part of this system. And that's what I love about it, because it keeps organizations organized. Now, so when I say that, sometimes, oh, you're part of a system, some people might get offended or, feel like, oh, I'm just a number. And to that, I would say we're all just a number in every kind of system, right? If I go to the bank, I'm number 12 when I walk in the door. They hand me a ticket. If I go to a deli, they hand me a ticket and I'm a number there. But these are all systems that are meant to organize. So just like in a lot of types of systems, some people abuse it and use it to kind of hold people back and keep people stuck, but they are systems nonetheless. And so where you can benefit and take your advantage is from knowing what these systems are and figuring out how to navigate them. And because these systems have been kind of kept out of the spotlight for so long, you probably thought it was all just people against you, and it can be. People are people, right? But there are systems, and as long as you know what they are and how you can move within them, you can do so much for your career and so much for your salary. I myself, as an analyst, someone in the system, have used this knowledge to move around organizations as I please, because once you know what to do and you do it, because these systems exist, you're able to take advantage of that for sure. So, like I said, on Monday, I don't think I said it yet today, but I'll be doing a free live. You need to register. You can't just waltz on in there because you won't be able to get in. But I'll be doing a free session where I'll be going into detail about all of these aspects of these personnel systems, right? Like I said, ATS is a tool, a cog. Job descriptions are part of the systems, but they span everything in the organization. And if you don't know about these systems, frankly, you are walking blind in your career. You are letting it happen to you as opposed to being an active participant in it. And there are so many people who are just kind of blindly walking through, not realizing that there's more that they could do and that they can really take charge of their careers. And that's what I want for all of y'all, because I experience it. It's nice. So, on Saturday, 3 p.m. Eastern, I'll be going live in a separate place, not on Facebook, where I'll be digging into the details about these systems and how you can use them to approach your job search in a smart way, in a simple way. We don't do that chasing people around at networking events, right? We just use systems. Okay, so if you're interested in catalyzing and jumpstarting your career and not interested in having a system make decisions for you, make sure you register for that live. I'll put the link in the chat. In the chat, and see you there. This is my last day going live this week. Make sure you watch the replays, and I'll see you on Saturday. Oh, yeah. All right. Bye.